Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Howell. Senator Webb. Representative Herron.
Here.
Representative Petrie. Representative Thomas.
Present.
Co-Chair Girdler. Chair Fraser Gordon.
Yes, ma'am. We do have a quorum. And now I would ask for the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes?
So moved.
A motion by my co-chair Girdler. Second by Representative Walker Thomas. Any objections? Okay. Catherine, would you report the informational items, please?
Pursuant to KRS 45765, the University of Kentucky reported a $363,700 National Science Foundation federally funded purchase of research equipment for the Chemistry Physics Building. Pursuant to KRS 45812-1, through its fiscal agent, the Bourbon County School District, which did not need an additional tax levy to pay debt service, reported an upcoming debt to issue. Pursuant to House Bill 1, Eastern Kentucky University and Northern Kentucky University reported cost revisions to some of their asset preservation projects.
Okay, first up, I believe we have Elizabeth Baker in person. If you would come to the table, please. She will be presenting agenda item number 4, 3 new leases and 1 lease modification. And could I have a motion and a second to roll them into one roll call vote? Motion by Senator Webb, second by Senator Funky Fromeyer. And Ms. Baker, you may begin.
Thank you. We have, as you said, 4 leases, 3 of which are new and 1 is an amendment. The first new lease is for our Markey Cancer Center to open a satellite clinic in Richmond at 2019 Corporate Drive. It is for 8,850 square feet with an annual cost of $159,300. The second new lease is for here in Frankfort at 279 King's Daughter Drive. It's in a building right next to the Frankfort Hospital. It is for a primary care and some other rotating clinics. It is for 5,401 square feet at an annual cost of $108,020. The third lease is for our philanthropy and alumni engagement group. We are moving, they're in 2 places. We're moving them to 1 physical location at 2353 Alexandria Drive in Lexington. It is for 12,841 square feet with an annual cost of $256,820 a year. I apologize. The amendment is for our Barnstable Brown Diabetes Center, which is at our Turfling Clinic in Lexington. We are adding 2,830 square feet, and the new annual cost for that clinic will be $684,143.25 a year.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions from members? Senator Funky Fromeyer?
Thank you. I've just recently entered into some of my own lease negotiations, and I'm finding that the price per square foot is dropping. What's our process in Kentucky with how we press our landlords for a difference?
Well, unfortunately, in Fayette County and Central Kentucky, the price, we aren't seeing dropping prices for us, and that's primarily because of the space that we need is clinical space, and we aren't, like the only office space, the Class A space we have is for philanthropy.
And actually, that is the one I'm referring to, because that's also Class A space that I'm negotiating, and it is stayed the same or dropped almost 10%, because we're seeing in Northern Kentucky and Covington, one of the hottest markets.
Yeah, not in Fayette County. What we do is, this was a new lease we issued, and we always issue an RFP. Unless we're in a space where we can get additional space under the same terms and conditions, then we don't have to issue an RFP if we feel like that is a good price. But for this one, we issued an RFP, and this one came back for us that we felt was the best, was in the best interest of the university and the Commonwealth under the terms and conditions they offered us.
Thank you. I would just ask that we kind of continue to pursue that recognition is national, if not international, that there is much less appetite for office square footage. So it is kind of a shout out that the prices are coming down, and we should maybe recognize some savings
we
there.
will hope that the prices come down for us in Fayette County and some of the counties. Our problem is really clinical space, and we're expanding some of our clinical services, and when you go outside Fayette County or maybe outside Northern Kentucky or Jefferson County, it's hard to find space that doesn't require a lot of work to bring it up to what it has to be to meet the standards for clinical space in terms of the Joint Commission and all the things that are required, like sinks and so forth, so that it is good for clinical. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from members? Seeing none, can I have a motion and a second to approve the 4 UK lease transactions? A motion by Senator Howe, second by Senator Webb. And Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Senator Funky Fromeyer.
Yes.
Senator Howell.
Aye.
Senator Webb. Representative Herron.
Yes.
Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Girdler.
Aye.
Chair Fraser Gordon.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Thank you, Ms. Baker. Yes, you do the same. Okay, our friend Janice Thomas is also here in person, presenting agenda item number 5, an appropriation increase requiring action and 2 projects requiring no action. And if you would begin with the appropriation increase, and then after we take a vote on that, we can continue with the remaining projects.
There we go. Thank you. Hello. Good to see you. Thanks for calling me friend. I'm happy to be here before you today and making this presentation. Only 3 projects today, and as you wish, I will start with the first appropriation increase. It's a federal fund appropriation increase in the amount of $300,000 from a USDA federal grant for the Postsecondary Education KCTCS Upgrading Welding Shop Big Sandy CTC Mayo Campus Project. This is a line-item project currently. It was authorized in the 22-24 Appropriations Act for $1.5 million restricted funds. So this $300,000 additional federal funds will bring the total scope to $1.8 million.
Okay, any questions on that project? Seeing none, do I have a motion and a second to approve the appropriation increase? Motion from Senator Webb, second by Senator Howe. And if you would call the roll, please.
Senator Funky Fromeyer. Yes. Senator Howell.
Aye.
Senator Webb. Representative Herron.
Yes.
Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Girdler. Chair Fraser Gordon.
Yes, the appropriation increase is approved. You may now continue with the 2 remaining projects.
It will be an improvement, and thank you for the approval. Next on the project is a reporting of a pool project in excess of $1 million. This is in the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet, Department of Fish and Wildlife, Philo, Harrison Fork project in the amount of $2,488,000, funded from the fees in lieu of stream mitigation pool. This project will restore and protect over 8,490 linear feet of stream habitat in the Bernheim Forest located in Nelson County. Would you like for me to move to the next project? And the next project is in General Government Cabinet, the Kentucky Department for Veterans Affairs Radcliffe Veterans Center Emergency Nurse Call System Replacement Project in the amount of $2,421,000, funded from the Emergency Repair, Maintenance, and Replacement account. This project includes replacement of the nurse call system. The department was notified that Johnson Controls that the system has been discontinued in all technical support. There's been some issues, so we need to replace this system. Right now, the center has implemented some emergency protocols for monitoring Veterans Care's needs until we can get this system replaced. I would like to add to this about the funding mechanism and how this works. There is a provision within the budget bill that's in Part 2, Section 6, related to emergency repair, maintenance, and the replacement account. The statutory authority for that account is in KRS 45780. And what the bill does, it allows a mechanism when funds are insufficient in that account that money is authorized through the budget bill to be transferred into this account to take care of needs such as these. So the funding is available through that mechanism and authorized through the budget bill. And after this project, the balance is zero.
Thank you for that explanation. And again, these require no action, but are there any questions from members?
I got a question. Does this mean we can bypass Petrie and not ask him and go do this ourselves?
I will tell you that I go by the book and what the law tells me to do.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, Natalie Bronner will be attending remotely. And she's here to present agenda item 6, a lease modification requiring action, and 2 lease modifications requiring no action. And again, if you would begin with the Jefferson County lease modification, and then we'll take a vote, and then we'll hear about the other 2 projects.
Certainly. Thank you so much and good afternoon. Again, my name is Natalie Bronner and I'm the Director of the Division of Real Properties. I'm presenting a lease modification for PR 3974 for the Transportation Cabinet Department of Highways in Jefferson County. Per KRS 56813, this lease modification increases the agency's current space for underground salt storage by 23,816 square feet, which brings the total to 175,754 square feet. The total cost of the lease increases by $53,586 for a new annual total of $395,466.52 with an effective date of May 1st, 2023. This modification is being presented to the committee pursuant to KRS 56823 since the annual cost of the modification exceeds $50,000. Any questions on that one?
From members? Okay, seeing none, I have a motion and a second to approve the lease modification. Have a motion by Co-Chair Chair Girdler and a second by Senator Howe. And Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Howell.
Aye.
Senator Webb. Representative Herron.
Yes.
Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Girdler.
Aye.
Chair Fraser Gordon.
Yes, the lease modification is approved. And if you would now please continue with the other 2 lease modifications, which again require no action.
Thank you so much. I'm also reporting 2 lease modifications under $50,000 for the Justice and Public Safety Cabinet. The first modification is for PR 3582 for the Department of Corrections in Franklin County. For KRS 56813, this lease modification is for leasehold improvements necessary to accommodate the agency's requirements for an enlarged reception area, conversion of a break area to a drug testing room, and various other security-related upgrades. 2 estimates were secured, one from Capital Craftsman for $43,828.65, and the other from Peach Contracting and Construction in the amount of $33,470.69. Corrections accepted the low bid and the cost will be amortized through the lease term of June 30th, 2027. This modification is being referred to the committee pursuant to KRS 56823. The second modification is for PR 5792 for the Department of Public Advocacy in Hopkins County, which is a temporary lease effective as of November 8th, 2023. For KRS 56813, this lease modification is for leasehold improvements necessary to accommodate the agency's requirements for paint, installation of vinyl flooring, carpet cleaning, and data drops. 2 estimates for each item were secured and the low bid was accepted for each. The total of $36,607.72 will be amortized through the lease term of June 30th, 2025. This lease modification is being reported to the committee pursuant to KRS 5682311.
Okay.
Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Bronner. Any questions from members? Okay, thank you for attending. I appreciate it.
Thank you all so much.
Next up, we have another remote presenter. Sandy Williams will be here to present agenda item 7A, 2 loans and 13 cleaner water program grants. And like a motion and a second to roll them into one roll call vote. Motion by
Second.
Senator Funky Fromeyer, second by Senator Howe. And Ms. Williams, you may begin.
Thank you very much. I'm Sandy Williams, Executive Director with the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority. And today we do have all these great projects to present to the committee. The first up is the Louisville and Jefferson County Metropolitan Sewer District. MSD has a Fund A loan that was approved at the December 7th KA board meeting in the amount of $27,783,547 for their base loan, and 1 million is the funding package is completed by a $1.1 million additional KIA loan, a cleaner water program grant, and local funds for a total project amount just over $225 million. This is for the Patty's Run Flood Pumping Station Capacity Project. And the project will consist of a new flood pumping station that will provide total estimated pumping capacity of about 1,900 million gallons per day. And again, this loan was approved at the December 7th KA board meeting. The second project the second loan that I would like to report to the committee is a Water Management Assistance Fund loan. So this is a new fund. We're very excited. And if the committee has a few minutes, I would like to just discuss briefly what we hope to
Yes.
how we hope to manage this program.
Yes, please do so.
Thank you very much. So the Water Management Assistance Fund was established in House Bill 758 of the 2022 regular session of the General Assembly. And the purpose is to provide assistance for both capital and non-capital expenditures of governmental entities that provide public drinking water and wastewater services. And so financially at risk, utilities that are financially at risk. So how do we define that? And the criteria that the KIA board is using to define at risk are centered around, we've got about 12 criteria that we look at. So no one utility will meet all of these criteria to be considered financially at risk. But we will be looking at the median household income of the service area. So if that MHI is less than the state's MHI, that's our current definition of disadvantaged communities in our state revolving fund loan program. User rates as they relate to affordability. So a disadvantaged community definition of that is at or above 1. And that calculation looks at the annual 4,000 gallon water rate divided by the system MHI. Does the utility have financial statements? Do they have audited financial statements? So if they don't, in at least one of the last 3 years, they could be considered financially at risk. Do they have deficit retained earnings over time? So showing negative income in 2 of the past 5 years, doesn't have to be consecutive. That could also be a sign of being financially at risk. If their debt service coverage over time is less than 1.1, that could also indicate unstable revenue or uneven amortization schedules. So again, all of these, so not all of them together, but any one or combination could indicate that a system could be financially at risk. Does the utility have excessive accounts payable? Do they have excessive accounts receivable? Are they in violation with the Safe Drinking Water Act or the Clean Water Act? Do they have a willingness to consider regionalization as a solution? And so we might give priority to projects that have an end goal of a regional solution. And that doesn't always mean merger with another system. It means they could share a water operator or they could share a management system. So again, we don't want to take away autonomy, but we would like willingness to consider regionalization in some form. We also are looking at the percentage of water loss of the system and we're hoping that the funding that we could provide, so if we want to fix an issue for a financially at-risk utility, we want to make sure that the funding package offers a complete funding solution. We don't want to give them $10,000, send them on their merry way, and they have $100,000 need. So, we want to make sure that the issue gets fixed.
Very good. So could you, so the second one is the Martin County. Is this the one that pertains to that? Could you go ahead and explain that?
Yes, ma'am, and I apologize. I'm switching back and forth between screens here. Please forgive me for the delay. So yes, the Martin County Water District went before the December 7th KIA board with a request of the Water Management Assistance Fund for $1,323,623.15 to consolidate their outstanding debt. It would be used to restructure an existing KIA loan, just over $219,000, and a Kentucky Rural Water Finance Corporation flexible term finance program note in the amount of just over $1.1 million. So this will be a 0% loan at 20-year term. And one special consideration, so when staff made the recommendation to the board, I will point out that we are going to give consideration to the utility to offer 50% principal forgiveness on their outstanding loan balance as of July 1st, 2027. If the water district has remained in compliance with its public service commission requirements through that time and has not had any default on the loan. And the reason we picked that date is that is the original maturity date of the existing KIA Fund B loan. So the Martin County Water District has been meeting those monthly obligations for repaying that original Fund B loan. And then, so those are the terms that the board approved at the December 7th board meeting. And we do have several cleaner water grants, and I would be happy to answer any questions that the committee may have on the loans or the grants.
Yes, if you could list those grants, then we'll ask questions at the end there. Okay.
So again,
And
I do apologize.
Okay, and before we do that, I do have one question from Senator Webb, please.
Yes.
Thank you. It's more of a comment, Madam Chairman. Back when Martin County didn't have a senator for a little while, I passed a resolution that created the task force, wastewater task force. Senator Wheeler came in and we carried that forward another year. And some of this, these identifiers really came out of that task force. And I appreciate Kia taking, stepping up and taking all that into consideration, especially Martin County. I had worked there as a coal miner, and that used to be flush with cash. And that's just an example of an Eastern Kentucky community, and West Kentucky has some too, that, the really decline of the coal industry put everything in quite the turmoil. And you can look at the numbers in this packet and see the consumers, and you can also see they have absorbed a rate increase to try to keep their water district viable, along with improvement in management practices and other things we identified, and some were cited. But certainly, I'm thankful that Martin County is in the position that it is in right now. But one thing else we identified, I think the committee should note, is just the need in those at-risk community sources and facilities that are at risk or right on the bubble there under the criteria. So I think that's something we really need to pay attention to. And then along with our power increases in East Kentucky and other things that we're dealing with, loss of population, I think is going to be a factor in some of this as far as consumer ability to pay. And I appreciate Kia's approach to this. I think it's prudent and responsible, and I really appreciate the work that they're doing there. But just be mindful And those of us, on the budget side, I think it's astonishing and to know how many of these districts are on the verge of being classified that way or are already. So I appreciate y'all, and I just wanted to make that point. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that, and thanks for the work on that bill, too. So you may proceed, Ms. Williams.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. So today we do have 13 cleaner water grants for the committee's review. 4 of those are reallocations from the Phase 1 2021 appropriation. 9 of those are from the 22 appropriation, 3 of which are reallocations and 6 of which are supplemental increase requests. And we respectfully request the committee's approval today.
Okay, any questions from members? Okay, seeing none, can I have a motion and a second to approve? Senator Funky Fromeyer, sorry, Senator Funky Fromeyer.
This could be held off for a future conversation, but the Northern Kentucky Water District was sharing that recent news with pipes into people's homes that there's a federal mandate that these pipes are going to be expected to be replaced. And it kind of caught me by surprise. And I'm wondering, and I feel like Petrie's glaring at me, so I might be speaking out of turn. But I just wonder when that will affect us and when we'll have to be budgeting or considering how we support this pipe replacement process.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you for the question. The EPA did recently pass the lead and copper rule revisions, and they're hoping that all lead service lines will be replaced. And under the bipartisan infrastructure law, over a 5-year period, there was additional funding that was appropriated through the state revolving fund programs. So KIA does administer the drinking water state revolving fund program and did receive federal appropriations with no required state match to help utilities with both the required inventory that they're required to submit in so lead service line inventory that the utilities, drinking water utilities, are required to submit as of October 2024. And also so after they identify where those lead service lines are, then, funding available to help them replace those lead service lines. And I hope that answers.
I think it does. When I was asking for further clarification, the indication of around 5,000 per house, but that maybe even the constituent or the homeowner, the stakeholder, would be expected to put money in towards it as well. I believe that'll take further shape, but it sounds like you're quite aware of it. But nothing for us to take action on in the near term, it sounds.
I'm sure the utilities would always appreciate appropriations to help with anything. But yes, we are aware of the funding and the need for the funding. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, seeing no further questions, have a motion and a second, please. Motion by Senator Howe, second by Senator Webb. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Senator Funky Fromeyer. Yes. Senator Howell.
Aye.
Senator Webb. Representative Herron.
Yes.
Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Girdler.
Aye.
Chair Fraser Gordon.
Yes. The Kentucky Infrastructure Authority transactions are approved, and thank you, Ms. Williams.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we have the double Ks that are here in person to present and update us on the Economic Development Fund grants, and we have several of those. So could I also have a motion and a second to roll them into one roll call vote?
So moved.
Motion by Senator Howell, second by Co-Chair Girdler, and you may begin. Thank you.
Thank you. We're very happy today to be presenting the final projects under round 1 of the KPDI program. We have 6 of those today, and kind of mixed in, we have 2 of our company regular Economic Development Fund grants as well today. And I'll let Callie do the presentation.
Thank you. First up, we have the City of Bowling Green on behalf of the Intermodal Transportation Authority. They were approved by KEDFA for a $415,201 KPDI EDF grant project. This is to extend infrastructure in the Kentucky Transport, and matching funds are provided through the local authority. Total potential investment for this project, $830,402. Next project is one that Katie mentioned that is just an EDF. It's not a KPDI project. This is with the City of Hopkinsville on behalf of Toyota Boshuku America. This was approved by KEDFA for a $750,000 EDF grant. The grant funds will be used for a new automotive parts stamping plant with an estimated investment of approximately $226 million. The facility will be the company's first ever smart plant that will employ innovative technology to enhance and maximize efficiency in operations. The company will be required to create and retain 157 new full-time jobs in Christian County, paying an average hourly wage of $40, including benefits. The company will be required to provide a letter of credit, and repayment provisions are included in the grant agreement if the company fails to create and retain the jobs or pay the required wages. Next, we have the City of Morgantown on behalf of City of Morgantown Industrial Holding Corporation. It was approved by KEDFA for a $300,679 KPDI EDF grant project. This is for road improvements in the Morgantown Industrial Park there in Butler County. Matching funds are provided through the local industrial corporation. KCI is a county account for repurposed federal funds through the CDBG. And total potential investment for this project is $601,358. Next, we have Boone County Fiscal Court on behalf of Kenton County Airport Board. They were approved for a project with a potential investment of $14,728,788. This project will construct an air cargo warehouse facility with airside access at the airport property. This is a regional project with support from Boone, Campbell, and Kenton counties, and matching funds are provided through the local private activity bond. This project was approved by KEDFA for a $3,666,925 KPDI EDF grant. Next, we have Fulton County Fiscal Court on behalf of the Fulton County Industrial Development Authority. They were approved by KEDFA for a $158,348 KPDI EDF grant project. This is to develop the Enterprise Park with site development and rail readiness. Matching funds are provided through a combination of the IDA and TVA funds, as well as the Delta Regional Authority and the Economic Development Partnership funds. Total potential investment for this project is $1,897,939. Our next project here is a standard EDF project. This is with Louisville Jefferson County Metro Government on behalf of Stellar Snacks. They were approved by KEDFA for a $2,250,000 EDF grant. The grant funds will be used for the constructing and equipping of a new facility in Jefferson County with an estimated investment of approximately $86 million. Stellar Snacks hopes to make Kentucky the new pretzel capital in the U.S. The company will be required to provide a letter of credit as security for the repayment of the EDF grant proceeds. Up to $1 million of the funds will be used for reimburse on expenditures related to the rail installation and improvements, and the remaining $1,250,000 may be dispersed upfront after collateral is received and the investment begins. A job credit to reduce the repayment of the grant is available for each full-time job created, with an additional credit available if the job is filled by an employee who resides within the West End Opportunity Partnership District. Credit for the reduction will be determined annually, and the company is required to employ at least 100 full-time employees by December 31st of 2025 and achieve at least $60 million in investment by December 31st of 2028. Next, we have Owen County Fiscal Court on behalf of the Owen County Industrial Development Corporation. This was approved for a project with a potential investment of $186,500. The project is seeking to construct a build-ready pad off the Progress Way in Owen County. Matching funds are provided through a county as well as the utility grant, and the project was approved by KEDFA for a $93,250 KPDI EDF grant. Last project today is Powell County Fiscal Court on behalf of the Powell County Industrial Development Authority, approved by KEDFA for a $319,012 KPDI EDF grant project. Project plans to extend the water and sewer utilities at the Clay City Business Park, and matching funds are provided through an ARC grant. Total potential investment for this project, $780,000. The 6 KPDI EDF grant projects were all identified by the Independent Site Selection Group to have potential investment for future projects locating in their area, and there should be concurrence letters signed for all 8 projects today. The projects were presented at KEDFA on December 7th and then presented to State Property and Building Commissions on December 8th.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thanks for that update. Are any questions from members? Okay, Representative Karen?
Thank you all for your presentation. I just want to speak a little bit on the project with Stellar Snacks. Just for our committee members, this is a huge project that is going to be in the West End. It's in my district. It literally sits in the neighborhood. People can literally walk to work, ride bikes to work. And so I think that I'm excited about this project. I think that when we talk about quality of life for individuals, this is a thing that is going to, I believe, potentially change generations of individuals. I think that when we talk about violence, prevention, and intervention, having this type of employment and opportunities inside the community where folks can easily get there is going to help reduce those numbers. So I'm very excited about this opportunity. And so I just wanted to share that with our members. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you for doing that. Okay, can I have a motion and a second? Motion by Senator Howe, second by Co-Chair Girdler. And Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Howell.
Aye.
Senator Webb. Representative Herron.
Yes.
Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Girdler.
Aye.
Chair Fraser Gordon.
Yes, the 2 Economic Development Fund grants were approved. So thank you very much for that. Okay. Next, we have Mr. Barrow is here to present agenda items 7C and D, which are 3 new debt issues as well as 2 school district debt issues requiring action and a prior debt issue requiring no action. I'd like a motion and a second to roll the 3 new debt issues into one roll call vote. Motion by Senator Howell, second by Senator Frankie Fromeyer. And would you begin with the 3 new debt issues first? And then after we vote on those, you can continue with the 6 previous debt.
Yes, understood. The first transaction for consideration today is University of Kentucky. These are secured by general receipts of the university. It's two parts: the modernization, $125 million, and asset preservation, just over $23 million. These were authorized in 2022, House Bill 1 of the General Assembly. The estimated cost of funds is just over 4.8, although that's changed this week. Competitive transaction with Dinsmore and Scholl and Baird as financial advisor. I'm happy to take any questions or proceed forward. The second transaction for consideration is the Kentucky Housing Corporation. This is a single-family mortgage revenue bond. This is not the multifamily that we see several typically in every meeting. This is an on-balance sheet transaction for the corporation to provide ongoing mortgage financing for first-time low and moderate-income Kentucky home buyers. This transaction will produce $150 million. It's a combination of taxable and tax-exempt. Actually, since the packet was put together, we're likely to enter the market with a higher portion of taxable bonds. Just wanted to disclose that, with an estimated interest cost of 5.79. The information about the financing team is in the packet, and again, this is on balance sheet for the corporation, but not a liability of the Commonwealth. The next transaction is a refunding, and as I alluded to before, we had an interesting day yesterday with the Fed deciding to keep rates stable and indicating potentially we've hit the peak where we're talking about 75 basis point cuts in the coming year, which obviously is very good for the Commonwealth in terms of what we can finance and fund and lower our cost of issuance, as well as the large fixed income portfolio that we have with those rate cuts north of 20 basis points just yesterday. This is before I left the office. Basically the same thing is happening today with lower rate cuts. So that's going to translate into benefiting the next transaction, which is a refunding, which we haven't presented in quite a while. This is State Prop 129. This is going to refund certain bonds, State Prop 105 that's outstanding. This is a Kentucky River Authority transaction. Originally, it funded renovations of locks 1 and 2 and Dam 8 on the Kentucky River. This debt is serviced by Tier 2 water withdrawal fees. So the districts that withdraw from the Kentucky River pay an additional fee that services the debt for these bonds as well as some others. The refunding, when we put the packet together, was estimated at 3.7 net present value. Obviously, with the actions of the Fed yesterday and the rates today, the savings is only going to enhance from what we presented in the packet of just over $440,000.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions from members? Okay, seeing none. I do have a motion and a second to approve the 3 new debt issues. Motion by Senator Howell, second. By Senator Webb, and would you please call the roll?
Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Howell.
Aye.
Senator Webb. Representative Herron.
Yes.
Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Girdler.
Aye.
Chair Frazier Gordon.
Yes. Those debt issues are approved, and now you may continue with the previous debt issues, which require no action.
So back up one from State Prop 129 and talk about State Prop 128 that we just issued. This is a general fund transaction. It generated $150 million in bond proceeds for various projects throughout multiple budgets. Authorized but unissued is what we call it. This was a negotiated sale with B of A Securities. The true interest cost was just above 4.66%, and no action is needed. But this is a pooled funding, so we put it into a pool, and as various projects need funding, OSBD will release those funds to continue construction on the authorized projects.
Okay, perfect. Any questions on this matter? Okay, seeing none. And before we continue with the 2 SFCC debt issues, I'd like a motion and a second to roll them into one roll call vote. Motion by Senator Howell, second by Representative Walker Thomas, and you may begin on those 2 issues.
So light SFCC items for consideration today, just Campbell County and Greene County. The estimated portion that would be funded by SFCC in terms of estimated par is just over $2.4 million, with the vast majority being local, over $23 million. There's no tax increase necessary to fund either of these projects, and we do respectfully request approval.
Okay, any questions? Seeing none, we have a motion and we do have a motion and a second. And yes, so I need a motion and a second to approve the debt issues. Motion by Senator Girdler, second by Senator Funky Fromeyer, and you may now call the roll.
Funky Fromeyer.
Aye.
Senator Howell.
Aye.
Senator Webb. Representative Herron.
Yes.
Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Girdler.
Aye.
Chair Frazier Gordon.
Yes, the FCC debt issues are approved. Thank you, Mr. Barrow. And that brings us to adjournment.
I was going to report, last time I said I wore a size 40. I went yesterday and bought pants for 42. So if you all bought 40s, if you bought 40s, get the receipt to me, and I'll take them back and get 42s.
He's something else.